This is the TM Master Cup Series, here for race 11 of 19 at the Grand Detour Raceway in Southern Illinois. The Clutch Pole Award goes to Marcus Leonard in car number 02, the first of his career. Marcus Leonard, you see there in the black car this week. For the rest of the season, the car will be black. Led the field with Dale Roswell and Tom Levin starting in third. Coming down out of turn 2, Leonard goes a little bit too high. Here comes Levin in the 85 to take the lead, showing some people that he's still got what it takes. Curtis Darcy was ejected from car number 9 after Indianapolis. David Krikorian from Los Angeles takes over that ride for the rest of the season. Caution 1 on lap number 2. James Dalton in car number 00 didn't get his weekend off to a good start. A little contact with Kurt Pliskin. Mike Whitmore and Palmer Styles sends him spinning towards the pit lane and into the pit wall. All 3 cars involved would go on to continue the race. However, there is some more trouble. Watch Danny Savin gets into Brian Sendak, spins up into Anthony Evans' path. This takes car number 10 of Evans out of the race early on, not something he was looking for. Levin led the field to the restart with Alexis Rainsford in second and Krikorian back in third. Krikorian was learning much from Alexis Rainsford, using the same lines the 27 car did around the racetrack. See, there they go, right past Tom Levin to go into first and second respectively. Here's an aerial view, which we will be using mostly throughout today. Alexis Rainsford, coming out of turn number 4, looks to be a little bit faster, but Krikorian is trying those lower lines to see if he can get his car to work down there. Eventually, it paid off, and Krikorian was able to sweep by Rainsford's 27 car and assume the first position in the race. Krikorian was surprising many people leading in his first start. Caution 2, lap 11. Trouble with Ross Peterson. He gets into Eric Jackson, and Lauren Roth spins the 39 car round. However, that doesn't really create much trouble in and of itself, but watch. Stuart Sandoval, Stephanie McGlynn on either side of the 39. Roth gets into Sandoval, spins McGlynn around. Here's one more look at it. There they go. There goes the 6 car up and into the wall. The Irish driver McGlynn not having a good second season in TM Master Cup Series. 10 races, she has 6 DNFs and is way down in points. Krikorian led on the restart. Palmer Styles in the 34 is a lap down. Caution 3, lap 19. More problems for Lauren Roth. He gets into Eric Jackson, sends Alan Hodges into the wall. Look at the 13 take a couple of rolls right there. Kurt Walker in the 24 car and the black and teal car also involved. Dan Klesel in car number 62 would lead on the restart. Ryan Araki in second. Chris Johans in third. Dale Roswell moved up to fourth. Mike Whitmore was a lap car, got his lap back. Caution 4, lap 28. Alan Hodges is finally going to be taken out of the race. Chris Allen gets into the back of him and into the wall he goes. And the Welshman would go out early on. Chris Johans in car number 12 uses the lapped car of Chris Allen to make a pretty good move, taking both Ryan Araki and Dan Klesel in the third and fourth turn. Excellent pass by Chris Johans shows some people why he won the Arla title, despite some controversy about how he got into the race, wrecking Tom Delgado on the last lap. Caution 5, lap 34. Matt Taylor is going to get into Lewis Kingston and Brian Sendak. Paul Lyons involved, Kurt Walker, and Lauren Roth gets some more damage to the 39 car. This would take Kurt Walker out of the event early. Lewis Kingston in car number 84 would soldier on. Dale Roswell, who turned 61 a couple of weeks ago, took the green flag with Alexis Rainsford in second and Marcus Leonard in third. Leonard makes a good move for second on Rainsford, who seemed to know this track better than anyone else, having won a TM Lights race here a couple of years ago. Roswell looking for the lead, Leonard looking for second, and caution 6, lap 40. Okay, Danny Savin and James Dalton are going to get into a little bit of tussle. This is going to involve Savin getting spun around by the 26 Scott Stoiler, that is David Krikorian. He held up on the inside, and the second car that hit him on the outside lane was Kurt Pliskin. It was kind of hard to see. Alexis Rainsford get a really good move on Dale Roswell. Chris Allen in the 71 is still not on the lead lap. Caution 7, lap 47 puts him back on. Ross Peterson in the 47 car is going to get into James Dalton. Scott Stoiler, Tony Durbin, Julian Osova, and Damian Snyder involved. Ross Peterson and James Dalton would be, needless to say, there'd be some complaints about their driving today. Alexis Rainsford got a good jump on the restart. Chris Allen is still a lap off the pace. There you see Marcus Leonard and Tom Levin scrapping for second back there. Caution 8 on lap 58. Colin Evans is trying to repair his reputation, but this won't do it justice. He runs into Tony Durbin with a little help from David Krikorian, but needless to say, if you're trying to regain your reputation, running into the defending champion is not how you do it. Alexis Rainsford and car number 27 could not be dislodged from the lead. There you see some contact between the lap cars of Mike Whitmore and Chris Allen. Caution 9 on lap 64. Damian Snyder's brakes fail and he runs into the pit wall. Arguably the strangest incident of the day because it didn't involve any contact between two race cars. Car number 11 would go to the garage. Alexis Rainsford, again, still in the lead. Scott Stoiler running in the second position. Mike Whitmore is a lap down still. Caution 10, lap 71. Involving car number 71. There you see Palmer Styles going into the pits. Chris Allen, oh, look at that! Justin Brooks got involved. Tom Levin, among others. Oh my, Justin Brooks got a big lick on that one. There's the Stuart Sandoval. Justin Brooks almost goes out of the stadium. There is Tom Levin in the 85. He wouldn't be too happy about this. Stuart Sandoval gets the wildest ride of all, though. Look at that. He goes over the wall and kind of back in. Stuart Sandoval wouldn't be too happy about the driving shown, about the driving skills or lack thereof of Chris Allen. And there is Mike Whitmore still trying to get another lap back from Alexis Rains from the 27. However, she denied that to him with a caution flag. Scott Stoiler gets some bumping from Eric Jackson, sends him into the wall with Johnny Ada. Look at the ride the 26 goes. He goes over. And there he goes, back onto his wheels. Johnny Ada, we're going to see some other cars run into him. Oh, that's his teammate, Scott Bates in the 88, and Stephanie McGlynn in car number 6 gets him as well. McGlynn having more sour luck, and needless to say, there'd be an interesting discussion in the Team EFR camp. Alexis Rainsford finally got a challenge, this time from Eric Jackson in the 35, who had gained a reputation for running into cars today. Ryan Araki in car number 32, though, was sneaking around in the 4th position. That is Brian Sendak, and the Red Bull saw her running in 3rd place. Sendak was running very well today. Caution 12 on lap 80. Colin Evans is going to have to dodge Danny Savin. However, in doing so, he pulls right across the front bumper of Ross Peterson's car. David Krikorian, James Dalton involved in another one. So is Danny Savin, which creates pretty much a giant fender bender. No cars go behind the wall for this incident. Ryan Araki got a pretty good jump, got around Brian Sendak on the first lap under green. He's chasing down Eric Jackson and Alexis Rainsford. Makes a good move on Jackson, but the caution flag comes out in lap 89. Colin Evans runs into James Dalton and spins Gary Edwards around. This is really becoming repetitive, but this is the wreck where James Dalton's car finally gets taken out due to a couple barrel rolls down the turn 2 banking. Colin Evans in car number 30 would receive a great boo for this from the fans. There you see, the 61 goes around. There goes Dalton. He went over that wall last year. Colin Evans rides the wall, but Dalton just goes for a barrel roll and sits on his roof on the apron. Alexis Rainsford leads with Ryan Araki in car number 32, showing some tremendous speed towards the end of this race. Ryan Araki eventually caught up to Alexis Rainsford in what some people called an impossible run for Araki's car. The 32 made a great move around Alexis Rainsford and seemed to be untouchable and was actually pulling away from the 27 car. Naraki showing a ton of speed here where he usually doesn't. Caution 14, lap 101. Leonard Roderick had kept his nose completely clean up until now. Eric Jackson gives him a bump and Marcus Leonard goes for a ride into the pit lane. Leonard Roderick would be uncharacteristically annoyed at this incident. Naraki continued dominating in the lead almost. Pulled away from Alexis Rainsford and Dale Roswell having a strong run. Caution 15 on lap 113. Joel Rodriguez and Todd Wodarczyk. Kevin Linsett. Rodriguez goes over the pit wall. Whoa! Arguably the most violent wreck of the day. Joel Rodriguez, a huge flip over the wall. Leonard Roderick getting into another incident. Kurt Pliskin involved in another one. This would take Kurt Pliskin out, and a very annoyed Leonard Roderick would park car number 4. One of the very few times he's done that this season. In the closing laps of the race, Ryan Araki and Alexis Rainsford would have a pretty good battle for the lead. However, Araki's car seemed to be unusually strong on the outside line. Alexis Rainsford began to be challenged for second by Eric Jackson in the 35 Monster Energy Leonard Q9. Jackson looked to have the spot, but Alexis Rainsford was fast in the next couple laps. However, the race would end under yellow on lap 122. Dan Klesl and Brian Sendak get together, and Dale Roswell runs onto the 62 without anywhere to go. Klesl and Roswell spin towards the pit lane. Arguably, there could have been enough laps to make a one-lap to go shootout to the finish. However, the officials called it a race, and Ryan Araki celebrated with burnouts. During the yellow flag, the officials called Eric Jackson to the pit lane for some of his aggressive driving, which took him out of the top 10, which is why Alexis Rainsford finished in second. Chris Johans, career best, third place. Excellent job for the McAllister Racing Machine. Lewis Kingston in fourth. Marcus Leonard, excellent job, fifth place. Brian Sendak, another good job by him. Finally, a good run of his results in a good finish. Mike Whitmore in car number 73 in 7th. Tyrone Stanley, a very, very different approach to getting a top 10, quietly sneaking around into the 8th place finish that he got. Tony Durbin in 9th, and then David Krikorian in car number 9. Excellent job by the Flair Motorsports bunch, getting car number 9 into the top 10 for DK. And here are the top 10 in points. Tony Durbin has 15 points over Alexis Rainsford. Leonard Roderick drops to 3rd in points. Lewis Kingston stays where he is in 4th. Ryan Araki, with his first win of the season, jumps to 5th. Johnny Ada, Gary Edwards up to 7th. Palmer Styles. Kurt Walker needs a break. He's dropped all the way from the lead down to 9th with 3 bad weeks in a row. And then Julia Nasova is tied with Kurt Walker for 9th. She's been making a steady climb through the points these past couple of weeks. And car number 1 cracks the top 10. And here's 11 through 20. Damian Snyder drops out of the top 10 to 11th. Mike Whitmore to 12th. Colin Evans in 13th. However, there hasn't been too many people that have been happy with his driving lately. Joel Rodriguez in 14th. Justin Brooks in 15th. Lauren Roth in 16th. Cariala winner didn't have a very good day. Todd Wodarczyk, also some people may be upset with him. Dale Roswell, how about that? 61 years old and showing he can still beat these young whippersnappers. Up into the top 20 in points. Dan Klesl in 19th, and then Scott Stoidler, the Philly boy, hanging in the top 20 in points. Very good run for the Hodges-Walter crew so far this year. That's all for this week in the TM Master Cup Series. I'll see you next time.